Buck Henry,
Robert Downey,
Marshall Efron,
Hollywood Law,
Jim Moran,
Earl Dow,
Larry Wolf.
Alan
Is there
Abel.
sex after death? Is there sex after death? The New York Times calls it the only really funny movie since Bananas. Is there sex after death? In color, rated X.
Andrew, go ahead. You talk.
Where did the film open?
The Cinema Rendezvous. It's changed its name since then. It's not far from Carnegie Hall.
Mm-hmm.
These were all private arrangements. And we were going to get kicked out if we went below, I think it was 8,500 or something a week. But that wasn't a problem. We had audience. We had people lined up every night. It was remarkable. But then Playboy came along and bought the theater, and they had a movie. I think it was Hamlet.
Right, it's Macbeth. It's the Roman Polanski adaptation, the very bloody, gory one.
After his wife was murdered. But anyway, so during the course now of our play, I think had like 5 weeks or so, and the whole object is to keep the run going, keep the run uninterrupted if possible. Then you get a better deal at the end of it, hopefully. And so now he put people in there, I guess.
Who's he?
I'm not sure if it was Hefner himself, but his people. And they started taking money. They started stealing money. And so we even had the amazing Randy go in there, the magician, who's another friend of ours, and to see how they were doing it, And he came back and told us how they were doing it, but there was nothing we could do about it. It was, it was ongoing, and the fact that we kept having an audience come was, our salvation at that point. Now we went over, I think Bob Downey had something to do with that, over to Rugoff, who had the Cinema 1 and 2
Mm-hmm.
on the east side. And we went over there and we broke all, records there. So again, incredible luck.
But Mom, can I ask you a question?
Mhm.
How did you know that were the books showing something different than the audience numbers? How did you find out?
I'm not sure if they were palming tickets or how. I forget.
But my dad
details.
broke into some office and hid and
well, this was later. That was later.
Oh, okay.
When we had. We actually had two distributors who were also stealing from us. It seemed to be the big thing to steal from us. Everybody was doing it. And
Luckily, you had a magician that you could send in to.
well, Alan at one point went into the office of these distributors and hid there when everybody went home at that
You did.
night. He hid in a closet.
Alan did. Oh my God.
And he looked over the books and he copied the books. And you can see now, how it was, because we would hear from friends who would say, "Oh, I saw your movie out in Seattle or someplace, and the people were hanging from the rafters. I couldn't even find a place to sit down, blah blah blah." And you look at the books and their recording of it.
Yeah.
It's no business, and again, over and over and over. And
Hey, I gotta remind you to tell Andrew the story about what happened on opening night.
oh God.
But Mommy, it's funny. You
Yes, but
it was
my.
horrifying at the time.
Yes, we had made the film in 16 millimeter. Now here we are going into a big theater, accustomed to showing 35 millimeter, and the ratio and all is different. But there was this Hortzen projector, which I think was German or French or something. And I don't know why we got onto this, how it came into our lives, but anyway, it did. But it projected in the ratio of 35 millimeter. And oddly enough, nobody noticed that it wasn't, full theater size, as it were. It was 16 millimeter, and we had only one print.
Wow.
So we start out, we have all the fake celebrities arriving and all that. We've done the whole thing. We had a radio host. We had all this publicity. People came in, the house was full.
Hey, what do you mean by fake celebrities?
Well, that's another story. Alan got all kinds of people who look like somebody famous.
Oh, look alike.
Who?
Look like.
And he had them arriving by limousine, and then they would go out the back door and come get in the limousine again and come back and keep arriving. You see, that kind of stuff. And so here we are. The audience is full, and people are, the lights just come down, and this film starts. And the first moment, fire breaks out on the screen, and the image goes in flames. And we're sitting in the back and think, oh God, what now am I? You can imagine the feeling. Yeah. Our only print.
Yeah, only print catches on fire.
Yeah, I know this.
Well, I ran up to the booth where the projectionist was. And projectionists are always, I don't think they still are, but they were always old and crotchety and didn't like people.
They're not still that way, but they are that way as
generally.
It's a job description,
And they're usually in some hole somewhere that only they can find a way to get into.
Right.
So anyway, I rushed up and saying, "Oh God, what?" And Alan went to the stage. Now he's holding the audience with stories about making a film, probably, and
this is where Daddy offered everybody a free vasectomy after the screening. Okay. He was in his doctor outfit. Okay, so go ahead.
And so I don't know how long it took, but anyway, it was only gratefully one frame.
Yeah.
And or maybe a few, I don't know. Anyway, he was able to splice it, and we were smooth sailing after that. But we quickly got another print, I'll tell you that. And it wasn't long after that we actually had distributors, and it went now 35 millimeter, many prints, and gets expensive, $1,000 a print or whatever it was.
Did you have problems with the laboratory making the film just because of the content?
Yeah. They deliberately scratched one reel of film.
And why they do that?
Because they saw sexual activity in there, and it was all fake. There was never one real moment of sex anywhere in it, I don't believe.
I thought there was one accidental slip.
Well, all right, maybe. Well, he had to put it somewhere.
Okay.
So
call my therapist now. My dad would always say that if anybody got aroused by the International Sex Bowl, they'd need psychiatric aid immediately. Remember? Daddy would say that all the time at every Q&A.
Well, we had problems. Some district attorney or attorney general, I think it was somebody in New Jersey, I'm not sure. Now, Alan would often actually create this kind of situation. He would call up somebody, "Did you know that they're shooting a sex scene over there, blah, blah, blah," and get them involved in investigating. And it would create publicity of some sort or other. Again, you played with it as it went,
Yeah.
And he tried to capitalize on that. He would do things like that.
So he sought to get the film censored.
Yeah.
Right. With the Stamp Out Smut campaign. So
there was a particular guy who was making it hard in Cincinnati, which is my hometown.
Yeah.
And they had banned it, and Alan had to go out there. He would have to go out and deal with the police departments and the censorship boards, whoever they were, to try to get the release from the film to allow it to be shown. And sometimes he won, sometimes he lost, but it's remarkable that somebody can ban a movie. First of all, it's a comedy. And if anybody chose to really pause to listen and look, it's not a porn movie, you know. I mean, it's just fake. You know, these people took themselves so seriously, and it was their means to get power, you know, by, you know, they were moral police. And
that was indicative of the age, though.
well, it was really hard to deal with, for sure. I don't know, the judge would sometimes take these scenes out. He'd say, you take these scenes out,
Yeah.
and then you can play your movie. And of course, there'd be things, you know, it would be destructive to do that. So we take them out for the moment, and then we put them back in. So, you know, I guess it was always X. It'll always be X. I don't know. Anyway.
I wanted to say, though, that when Daddy, and now I don't want this to get emotional, but I told Andrew that when my dad was like in the last weeks of his life at the hospital, he actually asked the nurse, he held her hand and he said, "Nurse, is there sex after death?" And it was like the most hilarious and beautiful thing that my mom wasn't there, but I was there.
Oh my God.
Please don't stop the tape just yet. My name is Alan Abel, also known as Dr. Harrison T. Rogers, and I'm producer of the film, Is There Sex After Death? I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did making it. The entire cast and crew had a ball. In fact, we're going to do it again. We're going to make another comedy, a spoof on censorship, on sex, on just about everything. And we're looking for someone to perhaps finance this film. So if you know of anyone who would like to correspond with me, and they want to make a lot of laughs and a lot of money, write to Alan Abel, care of Spencer Productions, 234 Fifth Avenue, New York, New York, 1001. And finally, in answer to the question, is there really sex after death? Yes, but you don't feel anything. Thanks again for being with us, and don't forget to rewind the tape. Cheers.